I was born in Buffalo, New York. Yeah. Below, that's what we call it, below.
Don't reside there anymore.
No.
You reside in Atlanta today.
Yeah, I'm in Georgia. I love Georgia.
Was it just Buffalo and Atlanta for you, or did you live in any other places throughout the years?
Nope. I lived in LA for a couple months at a time. I'd be like 3 to 4 months at a time. I'd go out in LA. So that's like my second home.
So give us the chronological order here. Born in Buffalo, how long do you stay in Buffalo before you go to LA or Atlanta first?
Okay, so I stayed in Buffalo, and then we came here for a church convention, and it was during Freaknik, right? Y'all remember Freaknik? If you from Georgia, Atlanta, you know what Freaknik is. So it was during that time. And so as a kid, I was already popping. I'm like 10, and I knew I was popping anyways, because I'm like, yes. So we downtown, I'm trying to act like a Christian girl in my little Christian dress. Like, yeah, but in my head, I'm like, yo, Atlanta is popping. I want to live here, right? We go back to Buffalo, and my dad's like, yo, we moving to Atlanta. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I heard black people winning out there. So we moved to Atlanta when I was 10. I was like going to the 5th grade or whatever. And I thought it was going to be great. Coming from Buffalo, my dad owned a restaurant. My mom had Section 8. Everything was going well. We moved to Atlanta, and I'm a spoiled kid, had J's, had all this stuff. And then we moved to Atlanta. The first day we moved there, we was living in a car. And I was like, this can't be. This is weird. It's not my life. Like, why are we in this car? Like, when are we gonna get another car? I was just like in shock. And we struggled from that day forth ever since I got out the house. We just like, it just couldn't get it together. I don't know what happened.
What age was that when you moved to Atlanta?
I was 10, I believe. Yeah, I think I was 10.
And you stay in Atlanta
Yep.
for how long before LA?
I stayed in Atlanta until probably like the second year in me stripping. Cause it's like by the first year, you're shy, you know what I'm saying? You get in your groove. Then second year, you confident. I'm like, yeah, I can go out to LA and make some money, you know what I'm saying? I was confident. And so, yeah, and then I ventured out to LA and I started stripping out there and stuff like that.
And you would go back and forth between LA and Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta to LA, just back and forth. Yep, so basically what I was trying to say, I went to LA way after high school, way after all of this, when in my strip days.
Now, when it comes to your biological parents, did you ever live under a two-parent household?
Yeah, when I was like probably between the age I was born and maybe 3 or 4, my dad, my real dad, like my blood dad, he was around, but I don't really remember him being around. He is like, he in the streets. I don't want to sit up here and be like, oh, my dad an alcoholic. Nah, I'm gonna show some respect for my dad. He's just in them streets. And so I was a real daddy's girl, you know what I'm saying? Until my mom met my stepdad. And then when I was 6, she met my stepdad. And we kind of like moved in with him. And then he became like my guardian, like he was my real dad. He took care of me and took me in while my dad was in the streets. But let me tell you one thing about my dad. I'm a daddy's girl from heart. I love my biological father. There's nothing I would do for him. Doesn't matter if he was not there for me when I was little. That's his life. I don't judge him. If he ever needed me, I'm gonna be here for him, and I will be here for my stepdad. I just had to put that out there just in case they see this one day.
So when you're under the roof of your stepfather, would you still see your biological father?
Yeah, he would come around. He would schedule the typical dad. He would schedule a trip like, yeah, I'm going to see my dad. And I'm outside waiting for my dad, like, Dad, where you at? And he wouldn't show. It's probably because he may have been drunk or, whatever the case may be. So my stepdad didn't like that. So it created conflict. And so one day they actually got into it. And I don't think my real dad didn't want the energy. So when we moved to Georgia, it was harder for him to see me. So.
And at this point, where is he in your life?
Um, I need to call him more, but I call him, on his birthdays and stuff like that. I just called him recently for his birthday. He was so drunk. He was turned. He was telling me he loved me like he always do. I'd be like, "What's up, Dad? Yeah, I love you, baby girl," and all of this. I was like, "Great. I'm glad you're having fun," because he laughs a lot, probably because he be in them streets. And so we're probably just going to live a long time because he's always happy.
Doesn't sound like you have a grudge with him at all.
Nope.
Why not? Somebody watching this might, in your shoes, hold a grudge with the description you just painted. Why don't you?
Yeah, because I'm not a judgmental person, and I've never been a judgmental person, and I pride myself on not being judged. And I'm like, perfect. Like, I want to be understood, and like when you talk, I want you to understand. Like, I've always struggled with trying to be perfect. And so I know people are not perfect. And so I'm like, at the end of the day, I've always been a daddy's girl. I'm not going to judge him for how he was raised because I don't know how he was raised growing up. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there. But whatever it is, it drives him to be the way he is. So it don't bother me.
And you never had a grudge?
Nope. I was always a daddy's girl for some reason. Like, I don't know. I love my mom to death. I love her. But I was just a daddy's girl.
And the reason why I ask that is because sometimes people may have a grudge at first and they get over it, or something comes where they get around it and then they're open, to their biological parent and things of that nature. So I didn't know if that was you from the jump, or maybe you did have a grudge and you overcame it.
Nope.
So just curious there.
I'm a Libra. Libras are so cool. I'm telling you, we're like the coolest people on the planet.